Well, in the weeks that have passed since our last update on the project, I've been thinking and daydreaming and shooting and developing film and printing the work and just trying to figure out where things are and where they're going. At this point, with everything else going on in my life, I look forward to these update videos in this series every month because it gives me a chance to remind myself just where I am and what I'm doing. So thank you all for joining me. Let's talk about the project, and a huge thanks to KEH Camera for supporting this series and helping me make it all happen. When we last spoke on the project, I was in the middle of fumbling my film and double loading reels, forgetting to add tape, and just messing up a bunch of film, basically. If you need caught up to speed on what happened on the last episode, there you go. So I decided this time around maybe we would go back and I would try some of those photos again, one in particular that I really wanted to get because I like the composition of the original frame. I would just prefer to have like a properly processed negative to work with. And the first time I was there, I only shot one composition. I shot one frame of this bridge, and this time around I decided I would try a number of different compositions, some landscape, some portrait, just try to see what was there while I was there. The light hitting the overpass while I was there on the first attempt, it just pops against the sky a little bit more. That white side of the bridge was in direct sun, whereas this time around the sun was more overhead. It wasn't hitting the side of the bridge as much, and I just don't think it works as much. I think the sky and the bridge and just overall everything about the first attempt was better, but we still went out there and we still tried. And speaking of the light, I've been going and looking for more bright midday sun. That's typically not the time I would go out to shoot if I had the choice. Like most of the time, whatever light I get in that time of frame that I have to shoot, that's just what I get to work with, and that's part of the fun. As I've been going out, I've been really drawn to shooting in bright midday sun, and I've been leaning into that a little bit more even with my exposures, with scanning and editing the photos. I've been leaning into this brighter kind of look, and there's a reason for that, but it's still just an idea and something I'm kind of like tinkering with and molding, so I don't want to talk about it yet, but I am looking for brighter scenes and just a brighter overall like look to some of the pictures for the book. And that's been part of the process of just day to day, printing out the pictures, looking at them, moving things around. I've been talking about this idea of seeing new and how I want to, kind of shoot as if I'm experiencing Chillicothe in its current state for the first time. I'm stumbling into Chillicothe. I wasn't sure exactly where I wanted to go with that. I knew that's where I wanted to start, but I think this has just been one of those moments where life and circumstance and just things happening, it kind of all falls in line into a way that you can't really plan for or brainstorm for. It's just the way things have happened. About a month into this project, I was able to move my office space back home. So I was able to work and film these videos at home rather than in an office space downtown. So for the last few years, I've had various different office spaces downtown Chillicothe, and just being downtown around the community and just in that space, that was part of my like daily life for a few years. It was like being immersed in the downtown community and being around it all the time, to then I was only going downtown maybe once a week. A lot of the photos I take happen to be around where I already naturally am. So if I'm working downtown every day, I'm always going to have my camera with me, and I'm going to be shooting and seeing things and thinking about things, and not being around it all the time, I was wondering like, how is that going to influence things? And I thought maybe at first this would be a good way for me to stay connected to Chillicothe and the downtown area, and it's going through all these changes. Maybe I could lean into that and kind of show the story of the evolution and the renaissance of Chillicothe's downtown. And the more I thought about it, and the more I shot and looked and walked around Chillicothe in the first month or two of the project, the more I realized that's just not a story I'm interested in. It's not a story I want to tell, at least right now. Chillicothe has seen a lot of change over the last 8 years or so, a lot of really good change, and it's been amazing to see, but at the same time, no place is perfect, and through all of the changes Chillicothe has gone through, I have both positive and negative feelings about that. Where Chillicothe is, like the status of Chillicothe right now in terms of being a town, a community, I'm not the town author, and I'm just one guy living here going through my own life, and I just don't think I have anything to add to that kind of conversation on commentary of Chillicothe and the hometown. That's just not where my interest is, that's not where my head is. A friend of mine was very much like my sort of love letter to Chillicothe, and it was me sticking up for Chillicothe and showing the things that made me feel like home, and it was very romantic in that way, and I shot it with that in mind. It was just coming from a completely different kind of perspective. I was a completely different person when I was working on those pictures, and now I want to speak to something that's actually genuine to me. I don't want to just go and make pictures of this is what Chillicothe looks like today. Now, to get back to the timing thing, a month or so once we got started on this project, we unfortunately lost my mom due to cancer, which led to then us, my whole family, we moved to the other side of the county to be here with my brother. And so I went from living in the one home that, my family had and then I had my whole life to now on the other side of the county. My surroundings are completely different. It's still Chillicothe, but I'm driving by things and I'm around things every day that I used to never really see. So it's just completely shifted my entire surroundings and my environment. The sounds I hear in my own backyard, the things I drive by every day, just establishing what home means now at this point in my life. When we moved, that really felt like sort of a new chapter, a new start, and I kind of just hit the reset on a lot of different things in my life, and that includes photography. I wanted to just let loose and forget everything I knew or thought I knew about photography and just get back to just chasing it, chasing whatever it is I'm always looking for. If I'm driving or walking, I'm scanning the horizon, I'm always looking for something, and most of the time I don't even know what it is I'm looking for, but I'll know it when I see it, and that is what it is I'm chasing. It's that instinct to just know it when I see it. In the last few months, just establishing a new home in Chillicothe and just seeing it from a new perspective, literally like physically being in new places and being around, different areas than I would normally be in, but also just being at a completely different stage in my life and perspective for really everything. It feels like I'm building the character and the makeup of Chillicothe when I'm going out and looking and seeing. It's like I'm absorbing different characteristics than I would normally be drawn to, or things that I guess haven't really noticed as much in the last 8 years since I worked on Friend of Mine. There's been a lot of life that's happened, and to be able to approach something with intention like this and trying to see it in a new way, it's exciting and energizing and refreshing and terrifying and haunting, but that's life, ain't it? All in all, I'm excited and I'm grateful to be working on a project about Chillicothe that still feels, personal to me and still feels like it's coming from a genuine place. I didn't know where the project would go when I got started, and I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to get that ball rolling, but I'm learning that time is a huge part of the process. I'd love to hear from you guys down below though. I truly appreciate all of the support as I've really shifted gears a lot, especially this year, just trying to make things more myself and just be myself a little bit more. It's, a work in progress like always, but I appreciate all of you that are here with me, especially when I'm talking about, my silly little pictures and projects. It means the world. And of course, we've got to thank our sponsor, KEH Camera. They're the ones sponsoring this entire series where we go behind the scenes every month, and they're also the best place to buy, sell, or trade used gear. KEH Camera has been buying, selling, and trading used photography gear for over 40 years now, so whether you need a camera body, a lens, a tripod, a camera bag, or one of those random odds and ends or parts for some of these older cameras, there's always a good chance they have it at KEH because their inventory is massive. They also have a risk-free 21-day return policy for thousands of their items, along with a 180-day warranty included. If you need to trade in or sell any of your gear, they have a quoting system on their website that's available 24/7, or you can even schedule a video chat with one of their buyers. If you're buying or selling or trading any of your gear, make sure you do it at KEH and use the affiliate links below anytime you're shopping with KEH to support the channel. It goes a long way at no extra cost to you. As a matter of fact, for 5% off your order, make sure you use the MD shop code on the screen and down below. This does change each season, so make sure you're using the up-to-date code and you're not going to miss out on any discounts. And if you're selling any gear, make sure you use the code MDSELL for 5% bonus on your quote.